welcome back to another episode of the Ramble. I'm your host, Layla Danis, and I'm joined by my co-host.
Hi, I'm Emily. I'm a senior zoo science major, and yeah, I think that's all I got.
Thank you, Emily. And I'm here with a few guests from the Inter-Greek Council. I believe it's Greek Week, so thank you for joining us today. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
I can go first. My name is Sarah Fetter. I am a senior wildlife conservation major, and I am a member of Delta Epsilon Beta here on campus.
Hi, my name is Tyler Newman. I am a junior media and communications major, and I am a member of Rho Epsilon Kappa on campus.
Thank you. Okay, so my first question is, what is the process like running for a fraternity or a sorority? Is that confidential information, or can you give us a little bit about that?
A lot of it is confidential and a lot of it is different between different orgs depending on what they do. The part that I can say is we do have recruitment events that happen before, usually it's near like the beginning of the semester. And there are open events that anybody on campus can come to that's interested in joining the orgs. I was a part of the recruitment team for DEB this past semester, so I got to put those events on. And it's just a chance for potential members to come in and get to know us and for us to get to know potential members.
I'm assuming it's the same for the fraternities.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing. We always try to like she said, like the recruitment events, we always try to like push those out, and we are always like, hey, like try to come to all of these because then we can really gauge what their interest is. If they're just like kind of trying to feel out the water, if they're like, yeah, like hoorah, like let's join, you know. So yeah, it's basically the same idea.
Okay. Are there some that are more selective than others? Or is it difficult to get in?
More selective. I don't know if it's more selective, but we have 3 social organizations on campus, which is DEB, PEK, and Omega Chi. And then there are 2 professional, which is Sigma Alpha and AGR. And they're just nationally known. So I'm sure their selection process is a little bit more intense. I don't really know since I'm not a part of any of those orgs. But with us, it's really just who we feel would be a really good fit in the sisterhood and who we could see taking future positions and like really having like a leadership role is what we really look for.
Sure.
Yeah, it's definitely like like clicking really well with the brothers or like the sisters of each org, and seeing them if they want to join, like they'll normally stick with it throughout the whole thing.
Sure. Before I get into the next question, Emily, you got anything you want to ask?
I mean, I remember when I was a freshman and I was interested in Greek life, believe it or not, I was. My second semester of my freshman year, I was interested in rushing Omega Chi because at the time I was close with a couple of the sisters. I think I went to like 2 of those rush events. The one event, I mean, I enjoyed both of the events that I went to for them, but I didn't hear anything back since I only went to 2 events. And then the following semester, so fall of my sophomore year, I was definitely more interested in Sigma Alpha because I grew up in the middle of nowhere. Heck, like I'm comfortable wearing this. I love agriculture. I love farming. And especially like the longer that I'm here, the more that I'm getting into it. And like what they talk about in class and what they learn about in class, I grew up with. So even though I didn't grow up on a farm, I grew up around farms and agriculture and learning where your food comes from. Does that make any sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. But
Yeah.
I didn't know how welcomed I would be because I'm a zoo science major and all of their majors are somehow related to agriculture. But their advisor at the time really liked me because my major was so different and they wanted to show that they're more than just the farm girls. But after taking a look at my grades, they said your grades are not high enough, but we would still like it if you could come to the rush events. And I said, sure, I really like you guys. I think you guys are super duper cool. But alas, I did not rush the following semester. I was just crazy busy. But a friend of mine was accepted into the organization. She's still a part of it and she's very involved with it. And I'm very proud of her. And I kind of wish I would have gone Greek just to have like that kind of bond, because like I've always been an outcast, I've always been an oddball. So yeah, that's my take on Greek life. But I mean, it's a little late for me to rush now because I'm graduating in 5 weeks. I thought about it, but I'm like, I need to focus on my academics. So yeah, that's me. And now I'm gonna eat my salad. So yeah.
Yeah, you touched on the grade aspect. That is something I missed. At DelVal, like the requirement for rushing, at least the social orgs, is 2.25. You have to have a 2.25 GPA, overall GPA, and you have to have at least 12 completed credits. So that also takes a role in the picking process, who can join. That's just up to the IGC chair, which is Andy. She goes through all of that.
All hail Queen Andy Fisher.
Yeah, Andy handles all of that. But I know that Sigma and AGR, I think theirs is 2.5 because they are nationally ranked.
Yeah, because they're with Sigma Alpha, they're considered a professional agriculture sorority. Yeah.
For those who don't know and may be interested in running for Greek life, can you run through the sororities and fraternities that are available on campus and a little bit about what they're kind of about?
Yeah, I could do the sororities if Tyler wants to do the frats after. Cool. All right. So like I said, I'm a part of Delta Epsilon Beta. We are a social sorority. The other social sorority is Omega Chi. Basically, there's a lot of things alike, but there's a lot of things different. And the different things are the more like confidential things, the things we learn, the things we stand for, like our ideals. And that you'll get with every Greek life. Every Greek life has different ideals, things that their founders have started and just kind of stood upon throughout generations. But mostly my take from like being in a social sorority is it really is, like Emily said, it's like a group of girls that are just there to support each other and be like a shoulder to lean on, like anytime anybody needs it. And that's probably my favorite part about being in a sorority, is like gaining those friendships. Where like the professional sorority, which would be Sigma Alpha, that is a professional agriculture sorority. So they are nationally known. There's multiple at multiple different, or it's on campus at multiple different schools. They are held to a little bit of a higher standard because they are a professional sorority. So their rules are a little bit different. And I believe like being a part of a professional sorority is really more so to get like an edge up in the job field, where like on campus and like being part of any Greek life can give you an edge up in the job field, because you do have leadership roles, which a lot of jobs do look for. But that's probably like the main difference between like a social sorority and the professional sorority we have on campus.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Sarah hit that like super well, right on the nose. It's really similar for the fraternities. It's PEK and it's AGR, and obviously PEK, we're a much smaller group of guys. Right now we have 5 active members, so we're small, but we get along really well. You know, we're a great group of guys, and it's a matter of like I transferred in and I met these dudes like my first week, and I was like, these guys are super cool. Like, I want to join. And then the AGR aspect is, like she said, is they're more professional. They're the agricultural fraternity on campus, and they require a higher GPA, and it's more professional. Like my roommate, when I first transferred here, he was also a transfer, and he was interested in Greek life as well. And I went to join PEK, and he was like, I really like those group of guys too, but it makes more sense for me to join AGR because it'll help me in the field, because he's a horticulture major. So And it's like, so like Sarah said, it's really a matter of edge in the field or like looking for like, either way, you're going to get like a group of guys that are going to be behind you for a very long time to come, you know?
So I just have a quick question about the available Greek organizations. This might come off as a little rude, but I'm blunt. Is APO still alive? Like, are they still on campus? Are they still recognized by IGC?
No, so APO is actually recognized as a club now.
Okay.
That happened, I think, 2 to 3 years
I think it
ago.
was 2 years ago.
Yeah, so they were an active Greek life and they were recognized by IGC, but now they are recognized by ICC, so the Inter
Okay.
Club Council.
Okay. But are they still technically like a Greek organization, just not recognized by the DelVal Greeks?
Yes, they're my one friend from home. She goes to Bloomsburg University. She is a part of that is a fraternity, so that's boys and girls. So that's
Yeah,
considered
a
a frat.
co-ed frat.
Yeah, that is active at Bloomsburg, I still believe. But it was
Okay.
APO's decision because it is national. It was APO's decision,
Yeah.
not necessarily DelVal's decision to take it
Okay.
off of Greek life. It just depended on the school and how many members, I believe.
Yeah,
could be
I think
wrong,
so.
Don't quote me on that, but yeah, they are not recognized by IGC.
All right. All right, cool. Thank you.
Do you think that females are more prone to join Greek life than males? Either of you can answer that.
Tyler, what's your take on that?
I don't know. I've never actually thought about that before, believe it or not. I guess here there's like a little bit more opportunity, I'd say, because there's just like one extra sorority type of thing. But I don't know. In my opinion, I don't think it's like either or. I think it's really just a matter of like I knew I wanted to join like Greek when I was going into college, but I mean anyone can join, in my opinion. I don't think it's one way or the other, but I guess it could be, but
Yeah, I would actually agree with that. I think it really depends on the person. Like I came to DelVal not really thinking I was gonna join Greek at all. And then I found some girls, one's actually my roommate now, who were a part of Deb before I got in. And they brought me to recruitment events and it completely changed my perspective on Greek life. And I realized that it's not like what you see in the movies, but it's more of like a community. And I mean, DelVal itself is a giant community, but there's like little communities among it. And Greek life is probably one of the strongest. Like we just had Greek week this week. And like we all walked around wearing matching shirts today. And that was like my favorite thing to see throughout the week. To just see people that I didn't even know that were in Greek life wearing the same shirt as me. It was pretty cool.
Okay. Conception that Greek life is unnecessary, that it's a hassle, it's too difficult to get involved in, and that it's time consuming. What are your thoughts on that?
I would definitely say, like, once again, it definitely depends on the person. It is time consuming, but in the long run, it really teaches you time management, which is what I really got out of joining Greek life and going through the whole process of joining Greek life. It's made me organized and made me like balance scheduling better. But yeah, it's definitely a huge time commitment and like it's not for everybody. And like I've seen that through going through the recruitment process. And even rushing with some people that decided it really wasn't for them when they decided, like when they figured out how big of a commitment it is. It's kind of like comparing it to a club. Like clubs are a time commitment, but Greek life is like almost double that because you do things like community service events and philanthropy events and fundraising events. And like those things are all planned by the sisters or the brothers in that particular org. So it teaches you how to reach out to people and how to speak to professionals about things and really just, once again, time management. So it definitely is time consuming, but it's really worth it in my opinion.
yeah, I definitely agree. It seems super time consuming from the outside, but on the inside, you're like, even though you're going and like doing like community service and stuff like that, it doesn't feel like community service, especially if you're just like, it feels like more like hanging out with buddies, just working for the day. You know, I'm getting outside and we're all like hanging out, doing something, you know, better than sitting in the dorms and doing nothing type of thing.
Yeah. have
I
anything
was
you want
always
to
told that when you go through the process after your initiation or induction, once you get your bid, I was always told that process essentially feels like another class. Can you guys attest to this? Like, that is the amount of work and time commitment that is involved with the process and doing like the sister dates or like the brother hangouts, like whatever you guys do. Like, that is what I was told.
I mean, definitely sort of, because during that time is when you do learn everything about the organization that you're going into. So it does take some time to learn these things and like almost like an appreciation for these things. Like right now, you can hear my roommate in the background. She's actually on a family line Zoom with her big and her grandbig, great grandbig, and a potential member this semester. So we have to not only like learn about the past, but it's the same things that all the past members have gone through. And even alumni to this day are still in contact with us. So even if it is like another class, it's as worth it as earning a credit. Yeah, it's as worth it as earning a credit towards your future, because you do build these connections basically for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. It's definitely, you need to find the time to put aside and learn that stuff, because like she said, everyone else goes through that. It's nothing type of new. I mean, it feels super time consuming and may not feel worth it, but once you like start picking it up, it's like you're just doing the same thing over and over type of thing.
Yeah.
It's nothing too crazy.
Well, I mean, yeah, it makes sense because if you're studying for your major, this is something that you want to do. I mean, you shouldn't be joining something that you don't want to be a part of. So if you're excited to set time apart to do that, then it makes sense, right? So,
Yeah, exactly. You'll put aside that time
mhm.
to do that, and it's not as much time as people think. Like it's not too crazy, and it's not, like I said, you put aside a small amount of time, like every day, every other day, like, and you'll be more than fine.
What do you think about Greek life and the common conception that you will be hazed in some way when joining? And I know that DelVal does not tolerate this, but I just know it's a thought that people have because they see it in movies and they see it in news and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, so DelVal, like you said, has an absolutely no hazing policy whatsoever. New members do have to go to a thing called a new member retreat where they learn all about hazing, what's like what hazing is, like people that don't even realize what could be hazing. So they do get informed about everything like that. We all sign forms saying that we will not haze at all. And honestly, from my perspective, if I was hazed, I would not have joined whatsoever, because I mean, I'm the type of person that wouldn't put up with that, and I wouldn't do that to other people. I can't speak for other schools in PA because I know Pennsylvania has a no hazing law, but bigger schools don't really follow that as much. But here at DelVal, I know that there's absolutely no hazing, which I definitely really appreciate within the Greek community, because being a small Greek community, that's really not what we're about. We're really just about making the connections personally and professionally, like especially with alumni and stuff.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's like she said, there's no hazing that goes on. Like that is, it's hard to get away from that stigma, especially when that's how we're pinned in movies and like in shows and everything. And especially when it happens in real life, like we see it on the news all the time, which is super unfortunate because like at DelVal, we are the little guys, like, and that hurts us in the long run. And it's just a shame because then people who might think they want to join, like they'll see a story on the news and they'll be like, oh well, if that's how Greek life is, then I don't want to join. And then right away, that's someone who wanted to join, and then all of a sudden they don't. That's just a new member that isn't going to join. And then they might come here and they might be like, oh well, maybe it's different. It's a little different. But some people are hard headed and they see that and they're like, nope, no more. So it's a stigma and it's hard to escape, but we try our best and I think we do a good job at it.
yeah, I can definitely see that at DelVal. It seems like there's a lot of respect and a sense of community with the Greek life here at DelVal. So, That's great. My next question is, can you just give me some of the pros of being a part of Greek life?
For me, it's definitely probably the friendships that I've made. Last semester, I lived with two sisters. This semester, I live with another sister. My best friends are in Deb. My other best friend is in Okai. I'm pretty close to the PEK guys. Just everybody in Greek life, not even if you're in your own org, we're all pretty close. We've all been through almost like the same thing. Like we all understand like our own ideals and our own values, but every Greek life has really high values. So we're all people that we know we respect and we know we get along with. And the friendship that I made in Deb are probably ones that I wouldn't have made if I didn't join Greek life. And at this point, I can't imagine my college experience without these girls at all. So yeah, I would definitely have to say my biggest pro is the relationships that I've made in my org and in other orgs.
Yeah, and like the friendships you make, they're super important. And honestly, being in Greek life helps introduce you to somewhat of like a real world scenario. Like, we go to the IGC exec meetings every week, and like we hold meetings as fraternities or sororities like separately every week or every other week, depending on what people do. But it's just a matter like it helps time management. Like I'm taking 20 credits this semester and it doesn't feel like 20 type of thing because my time management has become way better being a part of something that's like a well-oiled machine type of thing. So it's just it helps in all aspects of life. Like we all know each other, we all help each other out, and everyone personally gets something out of it because there's always other people to help. And that's the cool part about it.
What are some of the challenges that someone would face while being in Greek life?
I'm trying to think of like the best way to put this. I'll just explain it like, okay, so Deb right now has 13 active members. And in that situation, there are 13 females in one organization and things happen and people butt heads. It's inevitable in any group, especially a group of girls. And we're all very passionate about our sorority. So honestly, I feel like that's like the hardest thing is when people do butt heads or if there are disagreements or discrepancies. But at the end of the day, we're all a part of our org because we love it. And we're all friends because we choose to be friends, not because we're forced to be friends because we wear the same letters. And sometimes it takes a second to take a step back and realize that we are really lucky to be in an org that we really do love and choose to be in every single day. And really just set other things aside that are outside of the org and just come together and just keep pushing through any drama that's in any org. And I know that there's drama within every single org on campus, probably within the world because it happens. But knowing that we are a part of something bigger because we want to be a part of something bigger on campus, I would have to say that is like the worst part is the drama, but it resolves itself when we can come together and like ignore that drama and just realize that we are doing what we love to do and with people that we love. So it's kind of like a low and a high, I guess.
Yeah, I guess when you're in challenges, specifically, I guess making sure you're doing everything correctly through the school's eyes, especially, is there's something for everything. There's always a form, which, like I said, it introduces you to real life scenarios. There's a form for everything. There's different steps, and sometimes you get jumbled up and things just happen. But that's, in my eyes, probably one of the only things that tends to get challenging, and if you don't know how to deal with it right away. And sometimes things aren't explained super well and everything, but that's more like, you can figure it out. Like, but yeah, other than that, I would say, I'm sure I sound like a broken record, but time management, we always push, once you have under that GPA, that's when you would go inactive because you're under probation. And as long as you keep above that GPA, then you're still an active member, which everyone wants to be an active member, obviously. Yeah, time management and just keeping everything in order with the school's eyes.
It sounds like these challenges shape you into a better person. What are some of the qualities that you say you would develop or that you have developed?
I would, just like Tyler said, I would definitely say time management. I, like Emily, I started out at school with a low GPA. I was hardly allowed to rush. I was right on the borderline. And when I was going through the semester of rushing and going through the process, my GPA skyrocketed. And that's not common for a lot of people. It really depends. My big also said that her GPA really skyrocketed, but just taking on that extra responsibility and really pushing myself to get a higher GPA so I wouldn't be in like academic probation the next semester after doing all of this work, it made my grades better and it made me more determined to get better grades. And that's continued on throughout my entire time here at DelVal, even wearing my letters or not. Like I strive for academic excellence now because I want to be a part of something bigger. And definitely organizational skills. I am super organized now throughout the multiple positions that I've held throughout Deb. I've had to put on fundraisers, I've had to make schedules, I've had to contact professionals and then go back to the sisterhood and like kind of just be the middleman between things and like fundraising events that are happening and letting everyone know and making sure everyone's there and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like she said, it's like some people I know of, like their best semester academic wise is the semester that they're joining because it's stressed. Like it's like you're doing this other stuff and you're learning more on top of your classes. And the minute you go under that GPA, like you're not allowed to rush anymore. Like that's, you have to stay in good academic standing. And people like, most people take that and like run with it. Like I know my grades like skyrocketed my semester. I believe Tyler's did too. Like a lot of people just like she said, like you want to be a part of it, you want to stay a part of it, and you can't do that with low grades. So it's just a matter of keeping an eye on your academics and keeping yourself in check or organization wise. Like I put sticky notes up in front of my computer all the time. It's a mess, but I see it and I'm like, oh, I have homework to do. Okay. And I like jump on and I start doing my homework. And yeah, that's a matter of keeping it under control.
All right, well, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I never thought I could see myself like rushing Greek life, like Sarah said, but yeah, then I really got to know some of the sisters in the different organizations and I really liked it. And I kind of wish my grades were higher so that I could have joined that Greek organization. But then once my grades were where they wanted it, my classes just started to get really crazy. And I'm like, I'm trying not to lose it right now. So I feel like if I add another thing on top of it, I'm going to be a chicken with my head cut off. And I don't want to have a mental breakdown. I don't want to have this. I don't want to have that. But I mean, I kind of regret not joining it, but at the same time, like I already have 2 other exec positions within clubs and I'm just trying to keep everything like under control. But I mean, it would have been interesting to be in Greek life just to have the bond and be able to make those connections and try something new. So yeah, that's all I got. But thank you guys for coming on. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I think like Emily said, with the whole having exec positions in different clubs and stuff like that, with EBA Media and with the dance team and everything else that I'm a part of, it kind of gave me that team feeling and that feeling that I feel like I would have had if I joined a sorority. But I know that there's still things that are associated with sorority life that would have been beneficial to me. But at the same time, like she said earlier, I think it's not for everyone. You know, if you feel like if that's not what you want to do, then it's not, you know. But but yeah, it's definitely, I definitely do think it's a positive thing to be a part of. And I thank you guys for coming on. Happy Greek Week, by the way.
Yeah, thanks for having us. This is really fun, actually. I love talking about Greek life.
Yeah, I definitely love telling people about it. Like, obviously, we all love the exposure. You know, the more people that see us, the more people think, oh, maybe it would be cool to join. So
Mhm.
definitely, like, thank you for doing this for us.
Tyler obviously loves PEK. It's all over him.
Yeah. First Rush PK.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to our podcast. Join into our next episode, and we'll see you next time.